structure that had fostered me. No one really opposed my rebellious efforts either in church or at home, in part because those who were deeply religious, or who might have wanted to be, had no intellectually acceptable counter-arguments at their disposal. After all, many of the basic tenets of Christian belief were incomprehensible, if not clearly absurd. The virgin birth was an impossibility. Likewise, the notion that someone could rise from the dead. Did my act of rebellion precipitate a familial or social crisis? No. My actions were so predictable in a sense that they upset no one, with the exception of my mother, and even she was soon resigned to the inevitable. The other members of the church, my community, had become absolutely habituated to the increasingly more frequent act of defection and did not even notice. Did my act of rebellion upset me personally? Only in a manner I was not able to perceive until many years later. I developed a premature concern with large-scale political and social issues at about the same time I quit attending church. Why were some countries, some people, rich, happy, and successful, while others were doomed to misery? Why were the forces of NATO and the Soviet Union continually at each other's throats? How was it possible for people to act the way the Nazis had during World War II? Underlying these specific considerations was a broader, but at the time ill-conceptualized question. How did evil, particularly group-fostered evil, come to play its role in the world? I abandoned the traditions that supported me at about the same time I left childhood. This meant that I had no broader, socially constructed philosophy at hand to aid my understanding as I became aware of the existential problems that accompany maturity. The final consequences of that lack took years to become fully manifest. In the meantime, however, my nascent concern with questions of moral justice found immediate resolution. I started working as a volunteer for a mildly socialist political party and adopted the party line. Economic injustice was at the root of all evil, as far as I was concerned. Such injustice could be rectified as a consequence of the rearrangement of social organizations. I could play a part in that admirable revolution, carrying out my ideological beliefs. Doubt vanished. My role was clear. Looking back, I'm amazed at how stereotypical my actions, reactions, really were. I could not rationally accept the premises of religion as I understood them. I turned in consequence to dreams of political utopia and personal power. The same ideological trap caught millions of others in recent centuries. When I was 17, I left the town I grew up in. I moved nearby and attended a small college, which offered the first 2 years of undergraduate education. I involved myself there in university politics, which were more or less left-wing at that time, and was elected to the college board of governors. The board was composed of politically and ideologically conservative people, lawyers, doctors, and businessmen. They were all well, or at least practically educated, pragmatic, confident, outspoken. They had all accomplished something worthwhile and difficult. I could not help but admire them, even though I did not share their political stance. I found the fact of my admiration unsettling. I had attended several left-wing party congresses as a student politician and active party worker. I hoped to emulate the socialist leaders. The left had a long and honorable history in Canada and attracted some truly competent and caring people. However, I could not generate much respect for the numerous low-level party activists I encountered at these meetings. They seemed to live to complain. They had no career frequently and no family, no completed education, nothing but ideology. They were peevish, irritable, and little in every sense of the word. I was faced in consequence with a mirror image of the problem I encountered on the call.